Hello, good people. It's a pleasant evening out here. I hope it is the same at your end. I am excited tonight because it is an exciting package, truly an extra one. We shall start from the Federal Executive Council, where a huge infrastructure project have been approved. One project in particular spans from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri. The Zazzau Emirate is agog as the new emir ascends the throne of his forefathers. You don't want to miss this as we bring you all the details. Budget 2021. All is set for the presentation of the estimates to the National Assembly. Details are all here. And still on the Diamond Jubilee of Nigeria, you know we won't let it go for a while. So tonight, we revisit the Taste Square ceremony and some stories on Nigeria at 60. If you are a foodie, tonight is your night, as we have a lot on agriculture and biodiversity. Now, these are just some of the interesting things we have. I said some because these are not all we have. But like they say, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. So just stay with me and savor the whole package. I am Fatima Umar Buba, and this is News Extra. You're welcome. And we begin with the Federal Executive Council. The federal government has approved a $3.02 billion contract for the rehabilitation and reconstruction of the Port Harcourt to Maiduguri Eastern Narrow Gauge Railway, as well as the construction of new branch lines and transshipment facilities. The Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, announced this while briefing journalists after the weekly meeting of the Federal Executive Council, presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has details on these approvals and many others secured by ministries, departments and agencies in furtherance of the next level agenda for sustainable national development.
About 10 memoranda from ministries, departments and agencies were considered and approved at the council meeting, the 18th, to be held virtually in the new normal. Apart from the $3.02 billion contract for the reconstruction of the Port Harcourt to Maiduguri Eastern Narrow Gauge Railway, the council also approved the construction of a deep sea port in Boni, as well as a railway industrial park, Port Harcourt.
The industrial park will cost $389.31 million. Then the Bonny Deep Sea Port will cost $369 million at no cost to the federal government. I want to repeat that.
Contract has also been approved for the procurement and installation of desired equipment for the Automotive Mechatronic Training Center facilities in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country and the FCT, as well as a free pilot workshop automotive service hub for the National Automotive Design and Development Council.
The Automotive Development and Design Council has recorded a lot of success in bringing back assembly and manufacturing operations in the automotive sector. As a result of this, the proposed training centers will not only train Nigerians to maintain and service vehicles, but will also ensure that avoidable disasters arising from lack of skills by our teaming youth are prevented through periodic training and empowerment at an affordable cost.
Interior Minister Rauf Aregbesola also secured approval for the full business case for the design, finance, upgrade, operate and transfer of the Nigerian Correctional Service shoe, garment and leather processing factories in Aba, Abia State, as well as Janguza, Kano State. It is a private-public partnership investment valued at over 5.1 billion naira.
When the partnership comes into effect, the benefit is enormous. About 1,230 people will have direct employment, while about 3,000 people will have indirect employment. Besides the employment of Nigerians is the opportunity for training of the inmates of our correctional facilities in Janguza, Kano State, and Aba in Abia State.
Also, on behalf of the Minister for Works and Housing, I want to report that his memo for the completion of the rehabilitation of the Abeokuta-Ibadan Road, a distance of 72 kilometers, was approved today. It's actually it was a memo asking for augmentation by 788 million naira.
Another contract for the final design of engineering infrastructure and production of tender documents for Kabusa District Phase 3 has also been approved for the FCT at 183.7 million naira. 654 million naira is also to be expended by the Ministry of Aviation for the rehabilitation of screening machines at the various airports in the country to conform with the new normal.
The SGF, on behalf of Mr. President, also presented a memo which was approved seeking Council's approval for the purchase of 21 operational vehicles for the Federal Road Safety Corps so that we can stop the carnage on our roads.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy has been given the go-ahead for the deployment of hybrid spectrum monitoring system in the southeast geopolitical zone of the country.
Within the period of 8 months or thereabout, we carried out a monitoring where we discover 320 frequencies being used all over the country, and 106 were illegal. This is very worrisome because the usage of illegal spectrum or frequencies will compromise our security and safety in the country.
The monitoring exercise, the minister explained, did not cover the southeast geopolitical zone of the country, hence the request of 653.8 million naira to do so in line with the Buhari administration's commitment towards enhancing revenue generation and job creation, as well as promoting safety and security across Nigeria. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
What a foundation is to a structure is what the medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper is to annual budgets. In its final preparation to receive the 2021 annual budget, the Senate has approved the 2021-2023 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports that the House of Representatives had approved the documents last week.
The Senate Committee on Finance and National Planning scrutinized the 2021-2023 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper and made recommendations on key parameters for the 2021 budget, which has been approved. Daily oil production of 1.86 million barrels per day, oil benchmark of $40 per barrel, exchange rate of 379 naira to a dollar, and a domestic and foreign borrowing of 4.28 trillion naira.
The committee observed that the aggregate FDN revenue of 13.80 trillion was proposed in the medium-term expenditure framework and the fiscal strategy paper.
We need to work so hard to meet the kind of expectations, especially for funding of our development in the country for the budget.
We will do well to take a critical look at the Orosan report.
When we look at our revenue, we will find that the revenue would only be able, just on the ordinary, to be able to pay recurrent expenditure. Short of that, every year we have to go borrowing.
The committee recommended that the Senate begins amendment of Fiscal Responsibility Act so as to improve revenue remittance, while the collection of stamp duties be streamlined and domiciled with the Federal Inland Revenue Service. The National Border Studies Imeku Ogun State Establishment Bill, sponsored by Senator Tolu Odebiyi, passed second reading. Senate resolved to investigate alleged brutality by the Special Anti-Robbery Squad as it commended the Inspector General of Police for the swift reaction to the latest case. Senator Oluremi Tinubu moved the motion
and urged him to review the objectives behind the establishment of the tactical squads.
Maiming people, killing people for no just reason.
But harassing and killing innocent kids on the streets, it's just very uncivilized.
But now these people have become more like extortionists, extorting money.
Senator Danladi Sankara drew the attention of the Senate to the urgent need for the federal government to assist states in evacuation and resettlement of victims of flood-prone and ravaged areas, while Senator Patrick Abamoro's motion called on the Senate to urgently investigate alleged illicit charges by banks. The legislators resolved to investigate alleged non-remittance of proceeds of pre-shipment inspection of export activities in Nigeria.
Call on federal government to immediately provide economic intervention program to cushion the effect of this disaster.
Bank customers in Nigeria will pay not less than 1.462 billion naira to banks as card maintenance charges every month.
We'll call on the CBN to put an eye to make sure that these illicit charges are stopped immediately.
Well, all is now set for the presentation of the 2021 budget by President Muhammadu Buhari. But usually this exercise is accompanied by a large number of top government officials. But this time around is going to be different because the whole exercise is going to go in line with the observance of COVID-19 protocols. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Sure, all is now set for the annual joint session of the bicameral legislature for the presentation of the 2021 budget estimate by President Muhammadu Buhari. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports on the protocols of the presidential visit to the National Assembly.
At the commencement of plenary Wednesday, Speaker, House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila read the President's communications to members requesting for the joint session in the Green Chamber to lay the proposed expenditure of 2021 for approval. In line with current realities, the Speaker says the presentation will be a bridge with COVID-19 protocols in place all through the proceeding.
You don't stay too long in an enclosed space with a large crowd. So it's not going to be a presentation as usual in the sense that the President's presentation, we have asked them to abridge it, mine and the Senate President, so that we can all be out of here in an hour.
Most part of plenary was dedicated to a debate on activities of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad of the Nigeria Police Force following a matter of urgent public importance from House Leader Alhassan Ado Doguwa on the need to put a stop to alleged dehumanizing activities of SARS.
This is a sharp departure from their core mandate of responding to cases of armed robbery, kidnapping and other violent crises. This attitude of SARS has now given us a very bad image and all over the world.
The average Nigerian is more afraid of the police officer than he is of armed robbers.
That right is right under Section 33, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, must be at all times be jealously guarded and protected.
Over the next 30 days, the House of Representatives will work with the Nigerian Bar Association, with civil society, and with Nigerians of good conscience to draft new legislation that establishes a system of independent accountability that holds erring members of the police force to account for their conduct in the performance of their duties and imposes civil and criminal liability for violations of the police code.
House members requested the Inspector General of Police to provide a record of disciplinary or judicial action taken against police personnel accused of abuse of power in the last 5 years. The House also called for compensation to victims of violent attacks in parts of Plateau State, as moved by Representative Simon Marcon. Meanwhile, the Speaker announced the defection of Representative Ephraim Muzi of Rivers State from PDP to APC. A minute's silence was observed in honor of a former lawmaker, Sabu Garba, from Yobe State. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Upward review of incentives for judges is imperative to guarantee their impartiality in the dispensation of justice. Chairman Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, Michael Okpeyemi Bamidele, said this during the screening of 8 justices of the Supreme Court. John Yaku has the details.
Justice Muhammad Lawal Garba, Justice Helen Moronkeji Ogunwumiju, Justice Abdul Aboki, and Justice Ibrahim Saulawa. Others are Justice Adamu Jauro, Justice Samuel Oseji, Justice Tijani Abubakar, and Justice Emmanuel Akamoye. They were presented to the Senate on the recommendation of the National Judicial Council. After presentation of the curriculum vitae and session of questions and answers, the committee made its resolution.
We have interacted with them, and members are convinced that they are people of sound mind and they are fit and proper persons to sit as justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, be allowed to jointly and severally take a bow and leave. Say aye. Aye. Those who are against, say nay.
They are not here.
I am sure that we make movement. We move this country forward.
The chairman of the committee noted the commitment to repositioning the judiciary while thanking President Muhammadu Buhari for taking the bold step in this direction.
Our country needs a credible judiciary that can retain its pride in the Committee of Nations.
So that is something we're going to be looking into, to at least make the conditions of service for our judges, not just at the apex court, but even at the lowest of the courts too.
The confirmation of the 8 justices will bring to 20 the number of Supreme Court justices in Nigeria. Meanwhile, the Senate Committee on INEC has also screened Dr. Chukwuemeka Joseph as Resident Electoral Commissioner for Abia State. Chairman of the committee, Kabiru Gaya, charged him to pool his wealth of knowledge to contribute to Nigeria's democracy. In Abuja, John Yaku, NTA News.
Now, a US-based International Center for Settlement of Investment Dispute has ordered Interocean Oil Company to pay to Nigeria a sum of $660,129 as reimbursement of its share of the arbitration cost incurred in the proceedings in a case of contract agreement with it. A statement from Office of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice says the tribunal also absolves the federal government of Nigeria from any liability, maintaining that Nigeria did not breach any of its obligations in the contract agreement with Interocean Development Company and Interocean Oil Exploration Company. It further stated that the oil companies had requested, among other things, relief from the tribunal, directing the federal government of Nigeria, its relevant privies and instrumentalities to pay aggravated damages in an amount claimants estimated in excess of $1.5 billion. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, describes the judgment as an addition to the multiple success stories recorded in international litigations by the Federal Ministry of Justice for the country. And President Muhammadu Buhari has declared that all necessary measures have been put in place to ensure that the October 10 gubernatorial election in Ondo State is peaceful, transparent and credible. President Buhari also assured the electorate in Ondo of the provision of adequate security to forestall all breach of the peace by unscrupulous elements. In a video message to party supporters at the grand finale of the APC campaign for the Ondo governorship elections, the president urged the electorate to turn out en masse to vote on Saturday without fear of molestation.
I have followed events in Ondo State on the governorship election. I have taken a special interest partly because our party is involved, but because my focus and attention have been to ensure that we maximize every given opportunity to raise the bar in our collective desire to entrench democracy. I have no doubt that our candidate is a good brand for APC to market. I am particularly delighted by his original approach to governance. His performance within the limits of available resources is endearing, just as he has taken the state to a new level and on the path of prosperity. I wish you all a successful, peaceful governorship election. Vote right, vote wisely, vote for continuity and progress.
President Muhammadu Buhari there on forthcoming on the governorship election. Now, new Emir of Zazzau Ahmed Nuhu Bamali ascends the throne of his forefathers as Nigerian women wax stronger, shaking off domestic shackles 60 years after independence. Details when we return. Please stay with me. Good to have you back on News Extra. A century after leaving the throne of Zazzau Emirate, Malawa dynasty bounced back with the appointment of the 19th Emir of Zazzau, Alhaji Ahmed Nuhu Bamali. This followed Kaduna State's government's decision which was announced by the secretary to the state government, Balarabe Lawal Abbas, at the palace of the Emir of Zazzau. Sagir Mohammed Awal reports.
Thousands of people thronged the palace of Emir of Zazzau following the appointment of the new Emir. Some title holders who paid allegiance advised the new Emir to play a fatherly role in piloting the affairs of the Emirate.
I expect the Emir, knowing him fully well, to be a respectable person. We know him to care for his people. We know him to be very accommodating. We expect him to continue as such, so that he will continue to hold the tenets of the late Emir of Zazzau Alhaji Shobi.
Well-wishers have continued to troop into the family house of Emir to congratulate him on his appointment. In Zaria, I'm Sagir Muhammad Awal, NTA News.
The new Emir of Zazzau, Ahmed Nuhu Bamali of the Malawa dynasty, is the 19th Emir of the ancient chiefdom. Until this latest development, the Malawa dynasty, to which the new Emir belongs, has been on the throne for more than 100 years. Correspondent Maijama Adamu tells us more about this lawyer, banker and diplomat turned Emir of Zazzau.
Born on 8 June 1966 in Zaria city of Kaduna State, Ame is the son of late Nuhu Bamali, a heir to the throne of the Zazzau Emirate, who served as junior minister in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in 1960 and later became the Foreign Affairs Minister in 1965. Ame Nuhu Bamali inherited the title of Magajin Garin Zazzau from his late father, which means a Lord Mayor, and was originally a title given to the second most senior royal family member in the Zazzau Emirate. A graduate of law from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Ame Nuhu Bamali is also a holder of master's degree in international affairs and diplomacy and has attended many other courses at a number of educational institutions, including Harvard and Oxford universities, as well as Northwestern University in Chicago and the University of Pennsylvania. The new Emir has a vast working experience from banking industry to telecommunication to the Nigerian Security and Printing Company, where he rose to become Executive Director of Corporate Services and General Administration, and subsequently Managing Director. He was a member of the Kaduna State Transition Committee that ushered the government of Nasir El-Rufai and was appointed a member of the State Independent Electoral Commission before President Muhammadu Buhari appointed him ambassador and posted him to Thailand. In Kaduna, Maijama Adamu, NTA News.
And we have Abdullahi Mohammed, who is standing by in Zaria for a live conversation with the new Emir of Zazzau, Alhaji Ahmed Nuhu Bamali. Good evening, Abdullahi. It's now over to you. Can you hear me? Would love to listen to your conversation with the new Emir. Abdullah, the signal is really poor, so I think I'll continue. Much later, would join the live conversation with the Emir of Zazzau because we really can't wait to hear. President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated the new Emir of Zazzau, Ambassador Ahmed Nuhu Bamali, and and advised him to be a leader of all following the announcement on Wednesday. President Buhari, in a statement, congratulated the new emir for making history by becoming the first emir from the Malawa ruling house in 100 years, describing his appointment as well-deserved. The president urged him to justify the confidence reposed in him by becoming the leader to all and treat all his subjects fairly in the performance of his duties. He prayed Allah to grant him wisdom and guidance in the discharge of his responsibilities. In the meantime, President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has congratulated Alhaji Ahmed Nuhu Momali on his appointment as the 19th Emir of Zazzau. Senator Lawan described the appointment as well-deserved and expresses hope that the new Emir will meet the high expectations of the revered office and justify the trust and confidence reposed in him. Similarly, the Northern Governors Forum has described the appointment of the new emir as a good omen for the people of the Zazzau Emirate, Kaduna State and Nigeria as a whole. Chairman of the Forum and Governor of Plateau State, Simon Bakulalon, in a statement said, "It is a worthy opportunity given by God to serve following the achievements, exposure and experiences of the new emir." While assuring him of the support of the Northern Governors Forum, Lalong prayed his reign will benefit all and add to national development. It's been a while since the Eagle Square or Area 10 Parade Ground in Abuja witnessed a ceremony in commemoration of any of our national or even international days. Well, when the country got to the diamond age of 60 last week Thursday, there was no stopping to the celebration, and it was a beautiful occasion, and the parade put in place at the Eagle Square to mark the day was a colorful event to behold. Gideon Ifade was there and once again gives us the show that we will not be tired of seeing.
It is the diamond anniversary of Nigeria's independence. Many believe the country has the quality of a diamond, strong, alluring, and people who are rare gem amidst others, amiable and friendly. Going down memory lane, so much have been achieved over the last 60 years, what social analysts believe call for celebrations. And this parade at the Eagle Square climaxed a week-long activities. Attendance at every event was strictly by invitation, and even here at the Eagle Square, to control crowd and prevent the spread of the virus. Nigerians have always been recognized globally due to the numerous achievements in all spheres of life. Nigerian youths are known for their talents, which they display on daily basis over the years across the globe. Have a taste of this. Onifate, NTA News.
A short, beautiful and colorful event there. I've been told that the signal there at the Emir's Palace in Zazzau is okay. So let's now join Abdullahi Mohammed. And, you know, he is standing by with, well, we just can't wait to listen to the conversation he's going to have with the new Emir of Zazzau. So Abdullahi, it's over to you.
everyone, and I'm here with the new emir of Zazzau. Ahmad Nuhu Bamali is his name, and I will tell you that he has a CV that it will take the whole duration of this bulletin for you, for me to be able to read it out. But let me go straight to asking the first questions, ask the emir the first question. Can you just tell us the message of that you have today for your people?
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. My message to the people of Zaria is to come together so that we can move, the city, forward. The late emir did excellently well in the last 45 years, and my appeal to everybody now is to support me and also the Emirate Council, so that we can all, come together as one entity and then move forward. That is my appeal, to everybody in Zaria.
It's about 100 years the Malwal ruling house ascend the throne. What should the people expect from you?
Yeah, absolutely. The last time my family was there as we were there as the emirs in Zaria was 100 years ago, when my grandfather Ali Udansidi was deposed and taken to Lokoja, and since then no member of the family was able to make it to the position. So it is a great day to us all, in the family, and also to the people of Zaria. And I believe quite a number of people will agree with me, because of the number of people that came out today to rejoice with us, not only our family, but the entire city was in celebration mood. So I was very pleased with that, and I hope, this will continue.
We know that you're not the only one that contested for these thrones. Several other people from other ruling family houses also contested. What's your message for them tonight?
Absolutely, yes. Quite a number of us contested. Some, at least 13 people, contested the position in this contest that just, happened. But I've been appealing to them since the announcement that we should all come together as one entity, one family, so that we can, build a society, so that we can all, support our people, so that we can ensure that our people benefit from our wealth of experience and, the manpower that we have here in Zaria. We're one family because, for me personally, I am, close to, all the families. Like for the Bari dynasty, my grandmother, came from that family. So I see them as one family. And then for the Kazana dynasty, I'm married to, the daughter of the late emir. So I don't see them, any different from my own, immediate family. So my prayer to them and appeal to them, is to come together because we are one. And I don't want any division, in terms of rivalry, dynastic rivalry. That is what we've been fighting over the years. And, the late emir tried very much in that regard, and I want to build on the foundation he has already laid. So I have requested quite a number of them, to please come, and I'm going to reach out to all the contenders, to see how we can all, close our differences, close our, gaps, and then, move together. Some of them came here this night to pay homage and, pay their allegiance to me. So I believe, many more will come tomorrow morning because all the district heads will assemble at the palace so that we can all, put, this behind us and move forward. But generally, we're all happy And I'm so grateful to God for making it possible for me, to be the one, blessed to be the emir after 100 years.
We'd like to.
45 years ago, my father, lost, the throne, for the late emir. So, but alhamdulillah, today, we're celebrating.
We'd like to congratulate you, the NTA family, and
you.
wish you a very successful reign.
Thank you very much.
Fatima, that's it from here. Over to you now to continue the news tonight.
Well, thank you so much, Abdullahi. A very good one there. We wish the new emir all the best. Let's take a closer peep into the women's world. 60 years after independence, the Nigerian woman is no longer just comfortable staying in the kitchen. In recent times, she has been trying and pushing harder to penetrate every sphere, including the so-called men's world. The latest being storming big time into agriculture and the business world, where exploitation is a possibility. Mamsodemi and Dati will give us an insight.
60 years ago, she was only to be seen and not heard. Her place many believed to be only in the kitchen or at home. But no more. Times are changing and fast. The Nigerian woman is already gaining a voice and plays in every sphere. Great achievers, you may say.
There was a publication worldwide recognizing the women of Africa and making Nigeria #1 in terms of women that have insight into developing their countries. And so there is great progress among the women folk. They don't know that man is the head of the house. We are the neck of the nation. We turn them one day, they will bow.
That not enough. The women are storming into the business world of entrepreneurship and pomp and style, and the COVID-19 pandemic will not hinder their resolve as they converge at the Nigerian Export Promotion Council office, Abuja, from different states, including the FCT.
It is important for us as women to take care of ourselves.
They meet to form network and partnerships, as well as liaise with relevant government agencies.
Government, therefore, has put in place appropriate policies and numerous programs for the promotion of economic growth for women in MSMEs. That the ongoing constitutional review process adequately takes care of needs and concerns of Nigerian women.
And what can these women offer? Variety upon variety.
We're all about building women businesses to last for generations.
From agricultural produce to food supplements, down to beauty products and furniture, just to mention but a few.
This is held. It made from cashew, farm in Nigeria. Made from sesame, farm in Nigeria. There's no need importing anything.
Mama Ladishembo, over 70 years of age, has come all the way from Niger State.
My products are made from shea butter and they are natural products. You can see the soaps, moringa, tamarind, goat milk soap. I'm into research to add in more natural products.
For these women, entrepreneurs, it is the setting of a gear in motion to launch to every part of the world. Mamsodemi and Dati, NTA News.
Our head to Lagos now. Nigeria stands tall among developing nations with its rich history, vast geographical landmass, and abundant human and natural resources. And as Africa's giant basks in the euphoria of its 60th independence anniversary, Joy Ken Akwapuya highlights how revenue-yielding resources have been harnessed through the years for overall development.
One of the largest economies on the continent, Nigeria is widely regarded as Africa's powerhouse with abundant natural resources and a dynamic population. Although its human resource is arguably largely untapped, some notable citizens since the dawn of independence have not stopped being the most sought-after experts in diverse fields of human endeavor the world over. With the growth of SMEs came self-employment and job creation. Nigeria's human resource has come of age, contributing significantly to economic growth within and outside the country's shores. With regards to her natural endowments, it is no gainsaying the fact that Nigeria is blessed.
You have gold, you have silver, and then you have tin and lead at one end, and we have gemstones, we have limestone all over the country. We find minerals in every state of the Federation.
Prior to the early years of independence, agriculture and solid minerals were the nation's major revenue generators. At the time, Nigeria had comparative advantage for an array of resources over other nations of the world. The list was highly impressive. From the north, hides and skin to tons of cotton, the unforgettable granite pyramids, and endless supply of cocoa from the west were revenue spinners. Nations from far and near obtained coal from the eastern city of Enugu, tin from Jos, and iron ore from Itakpe. Every geographical region had resources that were judiciously exploited. Nigeria was not just self-sufficient, but a dependable supplier of many commodities in the international trade market. Then came the most lucrative God-given resource, crude oil. Upon its discovery in 1956, boom, all attention shifted to the beautiful bride. Inadvertently, other resources took a bow, one after the other. Observers would say overdependence on crude happened subconsciously.
We became suddenly rich. Our people who ran the affairs of the country started giving out handouts to a lot of people, to the regions. So there was really no reason to work hard as a region anymore.
Successive governments have been forced to return to the drawing board, formulating policies aimed at restoring the lost glory of Africa's most populous nation. The blueprint centered on exploring abandoned and untapped resources with the objective of increasing the country's GDP. It is obvious from the achievements of the present administration of President Muhammadu Buhari that agriculture, which was regarded as a preoccupation of the rural populace, has become an attractive portfolio, with the agro-industry blooming enough to cater to the food needs of Nigerians. In the same vein, the rail transportation system is being revamped for easy connectivity and movement of individuals and produce. The mines and steel sector is also being largely harnessed for job creation and economic development.
President Muhammadu Buhari, singularly, is the only president that has granted us money outside the budgetary provision, which has upped in the exploration of our strategic minerals. We've been able to do deep exploration on 5 of them.
It is clear that the Nigerian economy can survive beyond oil and gas. Economy watchers also agree that if the current tempo is sustained and improved upon, with determination and persistence, the nation has the potential of becoming a global economic leader in the coming decades. In Lagos, Joy Ken, Abuja, NTA News.
To attract a fair share of national resources to Ogun State, residents must stand up to be counted in the enumeration area demarcation exercise scheduled ahead of a proposed national census in the country. Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun said this while flagging off the exercise. Adeni Taiwo has the details.
Recent approval of 10 billion naira for the last phase of enumeration area demarcation by President Muhammadu Buhari underscored the imperativeness of an accurate census figure to national planning and effort to address infrastructural gap.
Ogun State is one of the 20 states and the Federal Capital Territory where the 10th phase of the enumeration area demarcation is scheduled to take place from October 12, 2020. Apart from flagging of the exercise, how to ensure its success by getting the buy-in of key stakeholders in Ikene and Remo North local government areas is the main purpose of this gathering organized by the National Population Commission.
And your support in the areas of sensitization of the populace, provision of security for the safety of our staff and all the materials that we are going to use, provision of accommodation for the field staff, provision of local guides, and assistance in any other ways that can lead to the success.
Ogun State Governor Prince Dakwabiodun, while flagging off the exercise, noted that it has far-reaching implications for effective planning and called on residents to cooperate with enumerators.
This current enumeration area demarcation being carried out by the National Population Commission is a welcome development that deserves the cooperation and support of all citizens of Ogun State.
Other stakeholders also pledged their support in the area of sensitization of residents and mobilization of resources. 20 motorcycles to aid the exercise were presented to the National Population Commission by the state government from Ikeru in Ikene local government area of Ogun State. Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
Effects of chemicals on crops, humans, animals, and the environment, experts raise concern. Plus, what month of October has in stock for the agricultural value chain and impact on food availability would be next. Thanks for staying. The regulation of the petroleum downstream sector has dominated discussions on the economic landscape in recent times, following government's decision to end inefficiencies and ensure supply and price stability in the industry. Abakar Usman Akwanga reports that voices on NTA's Tuesday Live resonated on full utilization of the benefits inherent in the new regime.
Those attempts to fully deregularize the downstream oil sector are said to have fallen short of required national needs. To address that and to further entrench best practices, the federal government removed a subsidy which is said to have gulped about 10 trillion naira from 2006 to 2018 and deprived the country of launching itself on the steady path of growth.
It will be very difficult for us to sustain subsidy. We spend trillions of naira every year to subsidize, and it allows for fraudulent practices, hoarding. Many people just submit papers whereas they did not import anything.
Once there are many players in the market, right, the chances are that everybody is striving to get the best. Even when you think of, okay, these are private businesses and their objective is profit.
A regime of borrowing to service subsidy in the industry is now left in the hands of market forces to determine supply and prices of the products, while availability has replaced perennial scarcity experienced in the past, forcing fuel stations to shut down or shortchanged consumers.
For all of these years as well that we're subsidizing petroleum products, we were borrowing. And in many of those years, government was borrowing us at double digits, as high as 18%. So if you do the mathematics, you can easily conclude today that the entire debt portfolio we have as a country would not have been there if we didn't have fuel subsidy in the past, say, 15 years.
The experts are of the opinion that resuscitation of helium refineries, which will regulate fluctuations and impact of pricing and make funds available for sustainable development, should be given top priority. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Senior United Nations officials and world leaders have appealed for urgent action on biodiversity conservation. This was at the UN Biodiversity Summit in New York. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday reports.
Reports show that every year, about 13 million hectares of forest are lost due to deforestation. 1 million species are at risk of extinction. And in the last 50 years, vertebrates have declined by 68%. President of the 75th session of the UN General Assembly, Volkan Bozkır, said, human beings' existence on Earth depends entirely on its ability to protect the environment, and appealed for a greener recovery from the COVID-19 outbreak to create a greener global economy.
If we continue down this path, we not only lose the beautiful riches of the world around us, but jeopardize food security, water supplies, livelihoods, and our ability to fight diseases and face extreme events.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres also sues for greater ambition to reverse biodiversity loss and create a better environment for generations to come.
10 years ago,
we secured commitments that should have protected our planet. We have largely failed. Nature is resilient, and it can recover if we ease our relentless assault.
Leaders from more than 100 countries, regions, and international organizations at the Biodiversity Summit agreed to set the goals of the post-2020 biodiversity framework and the means to achieve it. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
Now, the month of October is auspicious for many things in Nigeria, and one crucial one is the assessment of government's vision of growing what we eat as a nation. Noticeable activities in the agricultural value chain and impact on food availability, price stability, and increasing access by the people. How do these important food security components unfold in Nasarawa State is the focus of this report from Lafia by Hamza Musa Makarfi.
Alu, rice farmer, is fortunate. The ingredients for this old vocation in soil and water are so kind and does not have to worry about flood, which ravaged farms like his own in parts of Nigeria.
We can even export it to outside country. So many people.
As he put finishing touches, Alu says harvest is coming in weeks. Others ahead of him are carefully implementing processes to keep a depth with the market and fuel the economy. Two popular ones at Asakio and Ashangwa along Lafia Shandem Road, holding on different days, show evidence. The energy and enthusiasm of participants is pulled together at rice sections, typically having most activities and commercial transactions integrating value addition to the commodity. With availability, consciousness is raised about government's vision of growing what we eat and producing what we consume as a nation. In fact, the price has crashed for a big till like this, previously sold for 10,000 naira, is now 7,500 naira, and the bag selling for 15,000 naira as against more than 20,000 naira in recent past. Muhammad Shamsuddin, truck driver, is among community of transporters regular with consignment to Aba and Port Harcourt. Salisu Ayabu Jammaji from Kano State is happy government's policy encouraging value chain participants to grow more rice is working.
So the president is doing his best.
Survey on other food items like maize, melon, beans and yams indicate price drop with the exception of guinea corn and granules.
When we travel from all the way from east and come here, any price we must buy it. You will not go back with your money.
Definitely there is a change in the price of all these commodities.
With an opportunity to experience the rebounding of produce markets and price decrease, there is an appeal by Ashanga community to put to use rice milling machines installed many years ago in the area. Hamza Musa Magaripi, NTA News.
Thank you, Hamza. There is this adage that says, a friend in need is a friend indeed. Now, with the coronavirus pandemic, a lot of people, communities, businesses, and so on are in need, and also seeing their friends by their deeds. For about 60,000 rural poor in Kano State, the World Food Programme and the federal government are friends indeed. The two, in collaboration, gave out cash and food assistance to them to cushion the effect of COVID-19 among the most vulnerable. Fatima Sanusi Arai will tell us all about it.
Coronavirus pandemic has imposed a sudden shift and affect all aspects of people's life, leaving both immediate and long-term effects on health and socio-economic status of the most vulnerable, with 80% of these households having less income than before. The World Food Programme intervention, in collaboration with the federal government, is therefore a collective response to tackle the negative food security, particularly those living in the urban areas.
Is believing from the World Food Programme distribution of food items from house to house.
this is such a critical thing to do, to make sure that the vulnerable are getting it, and to have our eyes on it, and to be sure that it's working the way that we intended it to.
We targeted individuals 4 or 5 months ago, and from then on, that process was vetting, making sure that the right benefit is received by the right individuals.
Khadija Abubakar and Malam Suleiman, who are petty traders, are among the 60,000 beneficiaries of the Food and Cash Initiative.
They gave us cash, 11,000. We thank you.
I'm so happy. This money will help me.
To minimize the risk of exposure to coronavirus, the donor engages the services of tricycle operators to deliver the items to various destinations. The initiative is being funded by World Food Program in collaboration with federal government to the tune of $4 million for both grains and cash. In Kano, Fatima Sanusi Garai, NTA News.
Farming has become easier today when compared to decades back. Innovation through the use of machines and chemicals have reduced to a great extent the hard labor associated with land cultivation. However, concerns have been raised about the use of chemicals on crops and the effects it could have on humans, animals, and the environment. Wondering how? Well, our agri-correspondent Musa Baba Ali will tell us.
Farmers in the past relied on the use of organic farming techniques in the cultivation of crops. Weeding and other natural methods were used to control herbs, insect infestation, diseases, as well as improved yields. Use of chemicals in all aspects of food production, including poultry and livestock production, is gradually becoming a normal practice among farmers. Yusuf Ali, a vegetable farmer, says the use of natural methods to improve yield is more effective, but not as fast as the use of chemicals.
But these days, they want to, quickly go about it because the hectarage is now very large. So the use of chemicals now becomes inevitable.
While crop producers use chemicals to improve yields, poultry and livestock breeders use pharmaceutical products for speedy growth and fattening.
And once you consume the meat or the egg of this poultry or livestock, maybe the meat or the milk from our cattle, you automatically have this antibiotic being consumed from the animal. And then remember that the molecules are very similar. So in trying to doing that, you have the humans being primed for resistance.
More worrisome to horticulturists is the application of chemicals to produce that are ready for harvest or market, especially vegetables.
Most of the chemicals that are used in foods that we eat, especially the fruits and vegetables, some of them are harmful to the body. Some of them causes cancer. They are carcinogenic. So that's why we always advise people to look at the kind of fruits they are eating. They should avoid fruits that have a lot of processing, like chemicals on them.
The Nigeria Agricultural Quarantine Services is saddled with the responsibility of checking and confirming quality and packaging of all farm produce before export. The agency in 2014 announced that some Nigerian produce have been banned from some international commodity markets because of high chemical content.
But when we are not at the ports where these agricultural commodities are going out and those commodities do not pass through quarantine, then we are not in a position to certify it. And if those things go outside the country, they will be rejected. And a lot of such has been happening.
While the quarantines focus on produce meant for export, there is yet identified organizations saddled with the responsibility of checking crops for local consumption in a commodity market like this one. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
The Rural Electrification Agency is collaborating with the National Assembly to close energy gap in Nigeria, especially in the rural communities, using renewable energy option. Kenneth Nanim reports that a workshop to take stock on legislation, implementation and sustainability of electrification projects is providing a leeway for action.
Electricity is said to be the focal point for industrialization of every nation, though with huge financial consequences. In Nigeria, about 80 million people are estimated to be without electricity supply, resulting to setbacks in commerce and other economic activities, especially in the rural communities. Now, the Rural Electrification Agency and the National Assembly are on the same page on better strategies to change the narrative and deliver power supply to Nigerian people.
This involvement and inclusiveness is about collaborating and listening to a range of thoughts and notions on the decision we will make. It is the reason our doors are always open for cooperation.
Nigerians in the rural areas are dependent on this renewable energy. And I want to appeal to you as an agency in the implementation of what has been appropriated. You people must take that very serious.
The agency pointed to electrification of 37 federal universities, health facilities in rural areas, as well as other national projects as areas of success recorded.
We have the Sura market in Lagos, which we also powered through this initiative. Sabongeri market in Kano, Iponri market in Lagos as well, and a couple of other markets. We are currently working on more markets and clusters that would provide electricity to.
Most of our programs are designed to be able to encourage private sector investment, where private sector companies and developers would come in, make their own investments, and be able to sustain those projects.
Having underscored the need for adequate funding of electricity projects, some of the lawmakers urged the agency to concentrate more on agrarian communities and express the need for oversight on the projects to adequately evaluate utilization of funds appropriated. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
In another development, one of the leading phone brands in Nigeria, ITEL Mobile, has launched its new brand and several new products, including the S16 series smartphones, accessories and TVs. Joseph Johnson reports that the online brand launched was lauded as the much-awaited upgrade to the range of mobile products services ITEL Mobile has to offer.
Enjoy better life. That is the new brand philosophy and slogan of ITEL Mobile, which many, including celebrities like Olamide Adedeji, Annie Dibia, Bimbo Ademoye, and Cynthia Nwadura say aligns with the latest upgrade. With the launch of S16 series smartphones, smartwatches, true wireless stereo earbuds, power banks, chargers and TVs, ITEL Mobile has reaffirmed the commitment to providing pocket-friendly mobile technology products with great features to Nigerian consumers. For those who are tech-savvy and curious about the ITEL S16 series, well, here are some of the mouth-watering features to look out for.
This is the new ITEL S16 smartphone. And this phone is all about you. The ITEL S16 AI selfie camera na bado on its own. Abi, why you think say I did the following yan? AI selfie, Okbo. Top-notch full-screen display, Okbo.
The brand new S16 Pro comes with the 6.6 inches HD Plus Dutch Nut full-screen display. The bigger full-screen display gives users mobile viewing experience to the max and offer an incredibly immersive viewing experience while watching movie or gaming.
We will always provide different kinds of customized, user-friendly product with budget-friendly prices because we understand the needs of our consumers and are asked to satisfy them.
ITEL Mobile says Nigerians stand a chance to win a pair of the earbuds when they purchase any of the S16 series this October. The question now is, are you in for an upgrade of better life with ITEL? Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
Delta State beneficiaries of the Expenditure and Employment for Results Project C4 have wrapped up their impactful project spread with testimonies across Delta State. Tessie Coker reports that the steering committee, led by the State Commissioner for Economic Planning, took a valedictory tour of the C4 facilities.
Like they say, every good thing that has a beginning must have an end. And so it goes for the Delta State Expenditure and Employment for Result Project C4. For C4, it was a fait accompli, or if you like, mission accomplished, having touched as many lives as possible positively. While for the beneficiary communities, they will have the project with them and for upcoming generations. To bring the entire exercise that spans 7 years to a close, the steering committee led by the Delta State Commissioner for Economic Planning, Barry Bay, called at the Ukala Greenhouse that specializes in pepper cultivation that is provided by World Bank and European Union.
Every morning we make sure we come here for harvest because we know that weekly we harvest and sold.
The Fadama project in Ukala has been a blessing to me and my family.
The steering committee were also at the interlocking and sweeping vegetation in control of the Palace Avenue at Mbiri, Ikan Northeast local government area of Delta State.
Before now, this road was very bad. By the help of C4, we can pass here with motors.
The team also visited Umunonde community that benefited from the rehabilitation of the health center and provision of medical equipment, which is another feat of the World Bank, European Union, and the Delta State government.
C4 project and World Bank is not in all the 36 states. They are only in those states that has been able to show to them that they can support some of their project objectives. For instance, developing human capital. For instance, developing infrastructure. For instance, developing financial management systems. So with all of those things, they will want to come into those states to support what government is doing.
The World Bank themselves have adjudged the project as having attained its project development objectives. Hence, they said we must close up to enable them roll out new projects.
The Project E-Delta of the state government was also upgraded by C4, where the financial transaction of government is carried out daily. As the program winds up in Delta State, the beneficiaries who have remained grateful to the C4, World Bank, and the Delta State government asked for the program to be extended to reach more communities. The exercise ended with a briefing by the Delta State Steering Committee on C4 projects. In Asaba, Tessie, Koka, NTA News.
The Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has warned politicians against actions and utterances that could be inimical to a free, fair and credible gubernatorial elections in Ondo State. A statement by the force indicates that anyone who engages in electoral fraud such as political violence, vote buying, ballot box snatching, hate speeches and other unwholesome acts capable of undermining the peace and stability of the electoral process will face the full wrath of the law. Similarly, the IGP has ordered all police officers and other law enforcement agents deployed for the election to act in accordance with the Electoral Act and other extant laws guiding the overall conduct of the election. The IGP also reassured the people of Ondo State of adequate security measures to ensure their safety throughout the election period. Commuters will still find alternative routes as the third mainline bridge closes for another 2 days. Details right after the break. Welcome back. 10 weeks after the partial closure of Lagos' third mainland bridge, the Federal Ministry of Works has announced the total closure of the 11.8-kilometer stretch for a period of 2 days. Dotun Ogunyemi has that.
Of the total closure is contained in a press release signed by the Federal Controller of Works in Lagos, Olukayode Popola. The ministry says the closure is to ensure no vibration on the bridge during the casting of newly installed expansion joints to solidify the concrete. The statement points out that due to the number of expansion joints for the casting stage on the closed section of the bridge and the traffic situation in Lagos State, the task will be in 2 stages. The first total closure of the section of the bridge between Adekunle and Adeniji-Adele will be from midnight of Friday, 9th October to midnight of Sunday, 11th October. The statement, however, notes that the section of the bridge between Adekunle and Yanoworo will remain open to traffic from Ebutemeta to Adekunle to Yanoworo and vice versa. Traffic management personnel will also be on ground on all the alternative routes to aid the free flow of traffic. In Lagos, Dotun Ogunyemi, NTA News.
From Lagos now to sports. Super Eagles intensify preparations ahead of Friday's international friendly against Africa.